Madam Mayor, recording has begun.
Thank you very much. Hi, this is Mayor James. I am virtual today, so I am going to have Mr. Mayor Pro Tem Johnson take the meeting from here. Mayor Pro Tem, the meeting is all yours.
Good evening. Thanks, Mayor James. Thank you for attending the September 23rd council meeting. I call this meeting to order at 6 p.m. First on the agenda is a roll call, please, Madam Clerk.
Mayor Pro Tem Johnson,
Here.
Councilman Gutenberg,
Here.
Councilman McCormick,
Here.
Councilman Sampson,
Here.
Mayor James.
Here.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, you have a quorum.
Great. Thank you so much. If you all can please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. First order of business is seeking a motion to approve the meeting agenda for tonight.
So moved.
It's been moved. Is there a second?
I second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilman Gutenberg,
Yes.
Councilman McCormick,
Aye.
Councilman Sampson,
Yes.
Mayor James.
Aye.
The motion passes.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is the disclosure of a closed session in accordance with the Maryland Open Meetings Act, Annotated Code of Maryland, General Provisions, Article 3-211. We are required to include specific information in the minutes when a public body meets in closed session. To ensure full compliance, we have attached a written statement that includes the reason for the closed meeting, the statutory authority permitting the closed meeting, a listing of topics discussed, the individuals present, and the action taken. This documentation has been made part of the public record to maintain transparency and meet the legal requirements of the Act. All right. Next on the agenda is seeking a motion to approve the consent agenda, which includes the minutes from August 12th and August 26th, 2025.
I make said motion.
Motion, the item in motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Madam Clerk, can you please do a roll call?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilman Gutenberg,
Yes.
Councilman McCormick,
Aye.
Councilman Sampson,
Aye.
Mayor James.
Aye.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, the motion passes.
Thank you. All right, now we're going to move into public comment. When you are called, please come up to the podium, state your name and whether or not you're a resident of the town of La Plata. You will have 3 minutes to address the council. At this time, the council will not engage in question and answer, but rather our staff can get your information. We have one resident signed up to speak, and that's Ms. Prescott. I don't see anyone in the audience with Ms. Prescott, but how about online?
No, sir.
Madam Clerk, I apologize. Is Ms. Prescott online?
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, no one is online.
All right. Thank you. Anyone in the audience like to make comment? All right, we're going to move on from public comment. Next, we have 2 proclamations. The first one up is National Code Compliance Month. Mr. Stevens.
Good evening, Council. I'm Chuck Stevens. I'm your town manager, and it's my pleasure this evening. We're going to do a couple of proclamations back to back, and I'm really honored to be able to do this because we're going to recognize first, we're going to talk about code compliance and the town employees who do code compliance. And just by way of background, I think it's really interesting that this month, October, was established by George W. Bush following Hurricane Katrina. And they recognized the importance and the role that code enforcement played in the aftermath of that tragedy. And it really brought to light the work that code enforcement officers do to provide for the safety and welfare of citizens throughout our community. So I'm sure you're all aware of this, but our code enforcement employees, they're out there, they're facing various issues in enforcing our town code. in areas like building, zoning, environmental health, and life safety type of issues. And we can't thank them enough for all that they do. These are incredibly dedicated, highly qualified professionals who serve our community with the goals of preventing neighborhood deterioration. They're there to enhance and ensure safety and preserve property values through their hard work and their efforts. So for the town of La Plata, we have, they're a small team, but they're mighty. There's 3 of them, and I want to call them out by name here this evening. We have Aaron, Austin, and Mitchell. They comprise our code enforcement team, and I believe this evening we're going to recognize them with a proclamation. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Councilor Sampson, if you could please read the proclamation for National Code Compliance Month.
A Town of La Plata proclamation for National Code Compliance Month. Whereas code enforcement officers provide for safety and welfare of the citizens throughout the United States through the enforcement of local codes or ordinances facing various issues of building, zoning, housing, animal control, environmental, health, and life safety. And whereas code enforcement officers have a challenging and demanding role and often do not receive recognition for the job that they do in improving living and working conditions for residents and businesses of local communities. And whereas the role of many code enforcement officers has expanded in recent years with the increased number of foreclosed and abandoned homes in communities impacted economically. And whereas code enforcement officers are dedicated and highly qualified professionals who share the goals of preventing neighborhood deterioration, enhancing and ensuring safety, and preserving property values through knowledge and application of house, zone, and nuisance codes and ordinances. And whereas code enforcement officers often have a highly visible role in the communities they serve and regularly interact with a variety of state officials, county officials, first responders, legislative boards, commissions, agencies, and bodies. And whereas code enforcement officers are called upon to provide quality customer service and excellence to the residents and businesses of the communities in which they serve. Now, therefore, we, the council of the town of La Plata, do hereby recognize October as National Code Compliance Month in the town of La Plata. The council encourages all citizens to recognize and express their appreciation for the dedication and service by the individuals who serve as our code enforcement officers. Signed by the council of the town of La Plata, Janine E. James, Mayor, Paul C. Gutenberg, Councilman, Patrick McCormick, Councilman, Gregory Sampson Jr., Councilman, Tyjon C. Johnson, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilor Sampson. Next on the agenda is Proclamation Community Planning Month. Mr. Stevens.
Right. So October is also the month that we're going to recognize. It's been designated, and we're going to recognize it as Community Planning Month throughout the United States, and obviously here in the town of La Plata. Community Planning Month serves to recognize the vital role that planners play in shaping the environments where people live, work, and play. It emphasizes the need for thoughtful planning to address challenges such as housing, transportation issues, and environmental sustainability. This team is also small. Our team in the planning department consists of Don Dooley, our director, who's here with us this evening, and he has Debbie, Melinda, and Crystal on his team. And I think this evening we're going to recognize them with a proclamation as well.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mr. Stevens. Councilor Gutenberg, if you could please read that proclamation.
Thank you. A Town of La Plata proclamation for Community Planning Month. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, rural areas, and other places, and whereas community planning and plans can help manage this change in a way that provides better choices for how people work and live, and whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningfully involved in making choices that determine the future of their community, and whereas community planning and plans are essential to recovery, and planners can lead communities to equitable, resilient, and long-lasting recovery. And whereas the full benefits of planning require public officials and citizens who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. And whereas the month of October is designated as National Community Planning Month throughout the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives us the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation and dedication of the members of planning commissions and other citizen planners who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the town of La Plata. And whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by professional community planners of the town of La Plata and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service by these professionals. And now, therefore, we, the Council of the Town of La Plata, do hereby proclaim October to be Community Planning Month in the Town of La Plata. The Council encourages all citizens to recognize and appreciate the dedication and contributions of community planners to enhancing the lives of our citizens and businesses. Signed, the Council of the Town of La Plata, Janine E. James, Mayor, Paul C. Gutenberg, Councilman, Patrick McCormick, Councilman, Gregory Sampson Jr., Councilman, and Tyjon C. Johnson, Councilman.
Thank you, Councilor Gutenberg. Appreciate the dedicated staff that works every day to keep the town sustained. That's both from code enforcement and to the planners and our volunteers on the planning commission. Before we move on, any members from the council that would like to make comments? Councilor Gutenberg?
Sorry.
Sorry. Would you like to make any comments reference to the two proclamations?
Oh, yes. So it pleased me greatly to be able to read that tonight. Personally, I've developed an appreciation over the past 12 months in particular for the amount of effort that it takes to both as a professional planner to keep track of and do the work of planning, and the amount of contribution it takes from citizen planners on our commissions to do that work. That appreciation is developed, especially in my time on the council now. And so I very much was pleased to be able to read this tonight and felt a lot of pride for the work that I know is going on there. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor McCormick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. Mr. Stevens, thanks for the historical context behind kind of why this proclamation is happening, especially with the event of Hurricane Katrina, the response to it, and how important it is to have those correct responders, code enforcement, and those government agencies working hand in hand to make sure the residents are taken care of. And I think that's exactly what you and your team are doing here today, which is why we're recognizing you. So thank you for everything that you do for our residents. It is important to do the administration stuff here. And I'm sure a lot of times inside these four walls, you're dealing with internal politics and, you know, what folks want, but you're really doing a good job of representing the 10,800 La Plata residents out there. And I want to express my thanks, which is why this proclamation, has come from this council. And thank you so much for everything that you and your team does.
Thank you, Councilor McCormick. Councilor Sampson.
Yes, I want to echo the comments of the other councilmen. I think you guys are doing a fabulous job. And I think it is good that we recognize them for all their efforts. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. And Mayor James, any comments?
Just a quick one, just to say thank you, Aaron, Mitchell, and Austin of Code Enforcement, and Don, Debbie, and Crystal over there in planning. We couldn't do it without the six of them, so I hope they have a fabulous month of recognition.
Great. Thank you so much. All right, we're going to move on to new business. Reports from the town manager, Mr. Stevens.
All right, good evening, council. I don't have a lot for you this evening, but I do want to call to your attention. You'll remember a couple of weeks ago on Thursday, September the 11th, the town council met for its annual retreat. This afternoon, Michelle and I had an opportunity to meet with the facilitators of Zealous. They were the facilitators that worked that event with us very successfully. And we received the final deliverable from that, the output. I shared that with you via email this afternoon. We have also attached it here this evening to the agenda packet, so it's available for the public to see as well. My characterization of the day was very, very positive. We got together, we met for a day. The council reviewed the town's vision and mission policies, refined those a little bit. And then you had a very robust conversation about some of the priority initiatives that council wanted to see staff work on here in the last quarter of this year and into the new year. And so staff received very clear direction from council on how you want us to proceed. And we appreciate that. The staff appreciates nothing more than clear direction from the elected body. So we thank you for that. And again, my characterization of the day was a very positive event, and I'm happy to have been a part of it. That's all I have for you this evening, pending your questions.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. All right, next we're going to move on to reports from the mayor and town council. We'll go a little backwards here. I'm going to start with Councilor Sampson.
Okay. First, I'd like to thank the La Plata Police Department. I have received some constituent thanks, which I'm relaying to you. One was for the speeding that was taking place over on St. Mary's about 3 or 4 weeks ago. Those constituents had brought that up, and those same constituents came back to me Saturday and told me that things have calmed down, and they wanted that relayed to the La Plata Police Department. Also, I had constituents that wanted to thank the La Plata Police Department for helping with an abandoned vehicle that had been sitting out for a while. And so they wanted you to know that they were appreciative of that. Also, I had constituents from Oriole Lane and Martin's Crossing. They wanted to relay thanks to Miss Lucinda Anderson for promotion of community events. They were apparently they had called in and received positive customer service and good information on things going on. So they were appreciative of that. And finally, I just want to mention that I spoke with some of our, I would call them community partners. That is the principal over at Soda School over off of Catalpa and Steeplechase. And that was a very positive conversation, along with the school superintendent and the chief operating officer. And that was very positive as far as our jurisdiction just working together for the good of the community and the students. That's all I have.
Thank you, Councilor Sampson. Councilor McCormick.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I'm going to start with the sad, move on to the happy, and then talk a little bit about La Plata itself. So the last time we met with the public was 9/9. Unfortunately, a day later, we had a shooting in Colorado and an assassination in Utah of Charlie Kirk. I want to thank the community for the comments and the discourse that I saw on our public forum. So our Facebook, residents really coming together to just talk about that with open dialogue and discourse and really showing the best of what La Plata has to offer in the scene of a tragedy. 9/11 was obviously Patriots Day, the recognition of September 11th, the day where we lost 2,997 U.S. brothers and sisters. And I know La Plata was rocked by that event with the Pentagon being so physically close, but also knowing people in New York, knowing family in PA. And that's obviously a sad day. And I want to thank the town for putting out the flags and really doing a good job of showing our patriot, our courage, and really sticking to the promise that we'll never forget. On 9/11, we also had the town council retreat that Mr. Stevens alluded to. I want to echo his comments. While there's always good discourse, and good discourse requires professional confrontation, I think we came out with clear direction and guidance. And I think this town is going to be very happy when we get together here for some very important conversations come 2026 and beyond, that we have a very good game plan and roadmap to ensure that we're representing the 10,800 La Plata residents out there, not just 5 folks up here on the council. And I want to thank Mr. Stevens and Ms. Miner for doing a great job of reminding us of that as the conversations were going forward. The both of you were a great voice for the town and for the residents, so thank you for that. And then on the 17th was Constitution Day, which is an important day, the day that the Constitution was ratified all those years ago. But it's an important day because it reminds us that we are a government of the people. We have a set of rules here. It's important to ensure that we follow those rules. And when folks do not, it's important for those governing bodies to police their own. Now let's move on to some of the important stuff for La Plata personally here. So one of the things that we talked about on the 9/11 town council retreat was how can we offer the people of La Plata a break? I have an interesting proposal. I know the rest of the council has interesting proposals and look forward to hearing about those as we start getting into more of the budget season. So please be on the lookout for that. I'll be putting out some public comments and obviously addressing it here with the rest of the council. But I will speak for myself and not the council. My goal is to ensure when we head into 2026 that we are finding ways to offer tax breaks and tax benefits to our residents. It's getting expensive out there. I truly recognize it. And I think we're going to have some interesting conversations coming up with the budget that I look forward to having.
Thank you, Councilor McCormick. Councilor Gutenberg.
Yeah, I'm reflecting on gun violence and shootings. Maybe the thing I'll just point out is that, you know, it's not something we bring up here very often. But in 2025, 57 times in the United States of America, there have been school shootings. It's not something we talk about in here. I don't know what good it does as a parent. We kind of have to resign ourselves to it. But sometimes things happen and things get elevated, and maybe this is a time when, you know, it is appropriate to say it. 57 times in 2025, there have been school shootings. I pray every day that never happens here, never happens anywhere. But, you know, as a parent with kids that go to public schools, it's a thing that, you know I share that worry with all of our community on that. And 15 folks were killed in those 57 shootings in 2025 and that's just at kindergarten through 12th grade schools. So, you know, when I think about shootings and the problem that we have in this country with gun violence, I think about the most vulnerable among us. And I'll leave that comment there. The other thing I want to talk about a little bit, I should have mentioned, I was remiss at our last meeting to let the council know that I had gone to a HOA meeting at Washington Square. So had a good conversation down there. There is always such a good turnout at those events down there, and lots of lively conversation, a lot of discussion. I'll just say it for the benefit of my peers here on the council. You know, the discussion was about quality of water, traffic, significant amount of conversation about traffic and their concerns with Washington Avenue in particular, traffic. So we had a good conversation about that. And you know, and of course they invited me back. I will tell you, and I'm always happy to go. The conversations I've had down there during the election time and just in general, when I ever have gone back, which has been a couple of times now, the folks in Washington Square are really engaged in community issues, and I appreciate them. And I also reminded them, you know, when I was there, that I'm the councilman from Ward 1, not their only councilman, right? And so I reminded them that all of us serve them, and we all serve the town at large. You know, I will share invites as they come as well, because I know all of us have enjoyed our time down there. The other thing I'll say is just quickly, I don't want to steal too much of, two things. I do want to second what the town manager talked about with our retreat. It was a very productive day in that the five of us were able to come to, as the town manager said, to a decisive set of answers, right? And so sometimes we worry about that as a new council, and I'm really pleased that we were able to, you know, talk through priorities that day and get ourselves, you know, oriented so we can really be productive. So I'm looking forward to that. And related to that, this is the part I didn't want to steal too much thunder from Mayor Pro Tem Johnson. Is that I was able to participate in a community engagement roundtable that was hosted by the Southern Maryland Delegation Chair, Deborah Davis. And she hosted this. It was the first annual of these, and we're able to go there and meet Delegates Davis, Patterson, and Wilson to hear some advice from them and just have a quick conversation. But it was very informative from my perspective, and I really appreciated them making the time and giving us access to have the conversation that we were able to have. So I'll leave it at that. Thank you.
So thank you, Councilor Gutenberg. Mayor James.
Well, thank you so much. And thank you, Councilman Gutenberg and Mayor Pro Tem Johnson, for attending the delegation meeting last night in my absence. I cannot wait to hear all about it. I am sorry. I also have to thank Melinda, part of planning. Sorry, I forgot about all the great work she does. So I hope she has a fabulous month next month as well. So it has been really busy since the last time we met. And we had Friday night concert, which Steve Potter Band and Hardway Connection were they were fabulous. It was a beautiful night. I saw Mayor Pro Tem Johnson there. Events like this they're so awesome when they bring the community together, and the weather couldn't have been more perfect. We also celebrated the 1-year anniversary and a ribbon cutting for senior helpers. They're a business dedicated to serving our aging community and with compassion and expertise. They are over by Lido's on Chesapeake Avenue. I really suggest anyone who is caring for an elderly or has friends, family members that are, please check them out. They are a wealth of resources. We also did a ribbon cutting for Hooks and Hangers expansion. Their place, they have now bumped it out, and more goodies, and all of the proceeds, 100% of them go back to the care and services offered by Springdale Center. So it stays local. I was able to meet with Secretary of Commerce Kevin Coker to discuss economic opportunities, albeit very briefly because it was during our retreat. But I got to give Director Phipps a huge thank you for leading the downtown tour. They got to go to Landon's Ices and Cream, Charles Street Bakery, Port Tobacco Players, and they had lunch at the Charles. We already talked about the retreat, and I thought it was very productive. So thank you to our town manager, assistant town manager, and the team for putting that together. It was very productive. Small Business Growth Academy, I was able to attend that over, I guess it was the past weekend, and I was so honored to be recognized as an ambassador for this Growth Academy. It is growing and scaling our small businesses, which are the backbone of our community. I also attended Warfighter Advance, their beginning of a new evolution, and their mission is inspiring and really reassuring to see a difference they make for those who have served our country. I attended the Rise and Shine Network, and thank you, John Flatley and Chick-fil-A for putting that on. And we got to connect with local businesses all through Charles County, networking, sharing ideas, and building partnerships that strengthen not only La Plata, but the county as a whole. On Saturday, I attended the Veterans Service Dog Memorial. This is the first in the nation that will be here. And many of you are served in the military or have been affiliated with the military, and you know that the service animals are really heroes with 4 paws. They really help the service member. So that was pretty powerful, and I cannot wait to see the finished sculptured. Also attended the Charles County Volunteer Rescue Squad Award Ceremony, where our very own Jeff Garner was honored. And they did an amazing job with that banquet. It was carnival theme, and it was just so neat to see our own volunteer rescue squad giving awards to those that really volunteer their time to make us a little bit safer. We've got Breast Cancer Awareness Month next month as well. This is a time to honor survivors and remember those that we lost, and stand together in support of ongoing research, care, and early detection. And last but not least, a year ago today, we said goodbye to our dear, dear friend, Jeff Garner. I can't believe it's been a year. Jeff dedicated 39 years to the town of La Plata, beginning his career on the back of a trash truck and becoming our fearless leader of Director of Public Works. His story is one of perseverance, loyalty, and unwavering commitment to the people of the town. Jeff knew the town better than anyone. Every street, every system, every detail. There wasn't a question too big, too small that he couldn't answer. Please keep his family in your thoughts, and we continue to honor his great work and dedication that he has given us for the last 39 years, and he will continue to always be part of the family. And with that, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, that concludes my report.
Thank you for those comments, Mayor James. And I'm gonna move into my reports. And I too offer my condolences and to the Gardner family. They will be on my thoughts. Moving on, what Councilor Gutenberg alluded to, yesterday evening, we had the opportunity to go to the Waldorf West Library in Waldorf to meet with members of the local delegation that serve in the General Assembly. And basically, it was about a 10-minute conversation. They invited a variety of stakeholders in Charles County, any governmental entity, and all the municipalities to really get into touch with what's going on in their community. Because obviously, they legislate at a state level. They really wanted to hear from us, and this is going to be an ongoing effort and partnership between the governments. So we spoke and we let them know that we recently had our retreat, which I also echo. It was very stimulating and informative, and we came out aligned on what's next. And I appreciate Chuck and Michelle's guidance as we take that journey on together. And we really focused on, utilizing the delegation as a partner and collaborative measure as we move forward, and recognize that La Plata is not in this journey alone. We have partners that are willing to help us, and they look forward to the continued collaboration. That was my last remark for the public. The next town council meeting is October 21st and October 28th. That concludes new business. We now have 2 reasons to go into closed session. I'm going to read both of these word for word into the record. I'll seek a motion, a second, and we'll do a roll call. All right, so I'll be seeking a motion for closed session for statutory authority to close session, section 3-305B7, to consult with legal counsel to obtain legal advice, the topic being legal implication and risk associated with ongoing personnel and administrative matters. Reasons for closure. Discussion involves privileged attorney-client communication regarding legal risks and strategy not appropriate for public disclosure. The second reason being statutory authority to close, section 3-305B8, to consult with staff, consultants, or other individuals about pending or potential litigation. Topic being pending Maryland Department of Environment litigation. Reason for closure. Discussion involves communication regarding pending litigation not appropriate for public disclosure. I'll seek a motion.
So moved.
Those items have been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? We will take a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem,
Yes.
Councilman Gutenberg,
Yes.
Councilman McCormick,
No.
Councilman Sampson,
Aye.
Mayor James.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor Pro Tem, the motion passes.
Thank you so much. All right, I'm going to move for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Point of order. Since I am in the minority, I get an opportunity to defend myself real quick according to rules of procedure.
Can you state that rule for me, just so I know which one? It is?
Yes, it's in any time that there's a protected minority class. I can make a comment and then provide a written record of what that comment is. Goes into the minutes for the next meeting.
So point of order, would the rule not be that when you asked for discussion on the motion,
Correct.
then you should have made
So there's a difference between discussion. We're not going to know who's in the minority and the actual vote who determines who the minority is and isn't. We've set this precedent, made 2 said comments since the election on May 11th.
I'm just going to read this in accordance with section 6-9 methods of voting. And if I'm wrong, just correct that for me, please. After the debate, the presiding officer shall assure the motion is clear and calls for the vote. All questions submitted to the town council shall be determined by a majority vote of the town council members. Voting on any such question unless otherwise required by special or general law, a majority is more than half. An affirmative vote by majority of the town council present being necessary to adopt a motion, a tie vote means that the motion, resolution, or issue has been rejected. When a motion fails on a tie vote, the noes prevail. In order for a motion in zoning matters to be adopted, it must be approved by a majority of those voting. Section E, the town council members can request that the town clerk call for the individual votes of the town council members or any matter before the town council, which is a roll call. I don't see what you're saying. The rights of the minority are protected.
Yeah, so it's in the rules of procedure. I don't know the exact number, cited case, et cetera. But the important thing to remember here is even if I can't provide that, there are 2 examples so far since May 11th in which I've made these exact comments. It's just strictly, I voted no for this reason. I don't think that's a crazy thing to ask, and it's in the rules of procedure.
Because I can't find it, I'll open it up to council if they want to allow the comments. Counselor, just say yes or no. Counselor Gutenberg,
Yes.
Counselor McCormick,
Yes.
Counselor Sampson,
Yes.
Mayor James.
No.
All right, all right. Counselor McCormick, please proceed with your comments.
Yeah, just a quick no. I want the folks to understand why I voted no. So I voted no for the first part of why we're going into closed session. I think that should be discussed on the open record. The second part, I do believe we should go into closed session because of that, and we didn't split it. And I think that would be a waste of time. I simply just want to make sure that my no is stated because of the first part, not because of the second part. We're going to closed session. Thank you, counsel, for letting me explain that. Just think it's better to educate the public.
A point of order.
Counselor Gutenberg.
I feel what we effectively did was reopen the comment. May I make a comment?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. So the reason why I would support us going into closed session is for the reasons stated. I do understand why Councilman McCormick would like to have public viewing of this. However, we as a council, in my view, is that there are personnel matters that have to be protected by the council due to the unique nature of what we're going to be discussing. I think one of the questions we will address in the closed session is the appropriate way to have public disclosure of the conduct and the accusations and the results of the findings of those investigations in a way that's appropriate to not only the staff member, but to the elected public person that is also part of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor Gutenberg. Are there any other comments before I move on? All right, I'll seek a motion to adjourn.
Said motion.
Thank you. I officially adjourn the regular meeting at 6:37 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for attending.